I recognize the chairman of the full committee, Mr. Walden, for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and I appreciate our witnesses who are here today for this really important hearing. And I also join those who are keeping in our thoughts and prayers all those affected by the hurricanes and the flooding, Harvey, Irma. I would add to it a couple names you're not familiar with, Chetco, Eagle Creek, Indian Creek, among others, which are the fires that are ravaging the Northwest, including just a few miles from where I live. Over the weekend, the Eagle Creek fire took off and has now burned 33,000 acres. I had embers on my deck 17 miles away. Freeway systems closed, the rail lines are closed, and even the mighty Columbia River is not allowing barge traffic at this time. And this is in the National Columbia River Scenic Area. And so it seems like every region of our country is affected. And the comments made by my colleagues, they're helping out every step of the way with the citizens, our brave first responders, the firefighters, the EMTs and all, but also our broadcasters, public and commercial. Cell towers are staying up and operating. Emergency communications are at work. Our ham radio operators, of which I'm one, are very active in all this as well. And it speaks to the importance of the hearing today to make sure that we have the most vibrant, modern communications platforms in the world, and that they continue to operate and provide emergency and day-to-day communication to our citizens. In a district such as mine, with this enormous nature of it and these threats that we face, it's also important to realize it's very mountainous, and that means translators matter. And I know that's an issue that is on my mind because we have a lot of consumers out in the rural areas whose only link for television and the emergency communications that comes with that is off a translator in a deep valley or somewhere else. So we've got to figure that piece of this out. It wasn't part of the original package, but somehow in here we've got to figure a way through that one as well. The legislation that brings us here today started back in 2012 with the Middle Class Tax Relief and Job Creation Act under the FCC. Our whole goal then was to take this very important spectrum and make it available for its highest and best purpose and use, and drive innovation and help try to find a spectrum that would meet the insatiable demand of all of us who are consumers, who pull up all of our devices, like many of you probably are wishing you were doing right now, instead of listening to me, and watch video, among other things. And so it's important that we did that. We raised $19.8 billion to the government. We funded FirstNet, or at least the first tranche of FirstNet, for the interoperable public safety broadband network called for by the 9/11 Commission, and we're continuing our oversight over that. But today we need to look at this repack. That's the next phase. I said all along we would do that at the appropriate time to see if the right amount of funds are there to accomplish the goal. We didn't know. We still don't know for sure. We're also concerned about the timelines, the number literally of engineers that can do repacks. We've heard about FM stations that may be affected that we didn't know, really think through that they may have an effect here. And so we've got a lot of work on our hands. We know that. We want to hear from each of you. That's why it's such a diverse panel, as we know how much is at stake. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for working with us over the last 5 years. And now we enter the final phase. We want to make sure we get this phase right as well. So, Madam Chair, I thank you for your leadership on this issue and that of the committee on both sides of the aisle. And I look forward to hearing from our witnesses.
Gentleman yells.